The auditorium goes dead quiet. 20,000 people holding their breath. Stage lights blazing down on a 12-year-old boy with a voice that could crack mountains. But in the judges' row, billionaire music mogul Michael Sterling isn't watching the performance anymore. His pen drops. It hits the table with a sharp crack. His hand flies to his chest like he's been shot, because the kid on stage just started singing an acoustic ballad that Michael wrote in 2013. A song nobody else has ever heard. A song he wrote for someone he walked away from. Michael's head turns toward the front row. There she is, Rosa, sitting in her wheelchair, glowing with pride as she watches their son dominate the biggest stage in America. The son Michael never met. The woman he abandoned when her diagnosis came back. The family he threw away for a record deal. Have you ever run into someone you wronged so badly you thought they'd move to another planet just to avoid you? Well, imagine that person's kid is about to become famous while you're sitting there judging his talent. Before we go further, let us know where you are watching from in the comment and subscribe to my channel, because going forward I have got something extra special for you, and you don't want to miss it. Now, sit back and enjoy this story. In today's story, we explore what happens when the past you tried to bury shows up on live television, singing the song you wrote 11 years ago. Michael Sterling wipes his palms on his designer jeans for the third time in 5 minutes. The fabric costs more than most people's monthly rent, but right now it feels like sandpaper against his sweaty hands. "You good, man?" asks Trevor, the head producer, adjusting his headset. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Michael forces a smile, the kind of smile that's gotten him through boardroom meetings and record label politics for 15 years. Just thinking about the next act. But that's a lie. He's thinking about Rosa's laugh, the way she used to snort when something was really funny, then cover her mouth with embarrassment. He's thinking about the last time he saw her, 11 years ago, when the doctor's words hung between them like a death sentence. Multiple sclerosis with rapid progression. We're looking at significant mobility issues within 5 years. Michael had walked out 3 days later, left a note on the kitchen counter next to her prenatal vitamins. Took a meeting in Los Angeles. Never came back. The kid on stage finishes tuning his guitar. Elian Torres, according to the paperwork, 12 years old, no vocal coach listed, no talent agency, just a home address in the kind of neighborhood where people count quarters before buying milk. Michael knows that neighborhood. He grew up there, back when his name was Mike Sterling, and his biggest dream was owning a car that started on the first try. "Ladies and gentlemen," the host's voice booms across the auditorium. "Next up, we have Elian Torres, singing an original acoustic arrangement." Original arrangement. Michael's blood runs cold. There's no such thing as an original arrangement of the song Elian's about to sing, because Michael wrote it in 2013, sitting on Rosa's couch at 3 in the morning while she slept with her hand resting on her growing belly. He'd never recorded it, never shared it. It was just for her. Elian steps up to the microphone. He's small for 12, all elbows and nervous energy. His guitar is older than he is, the kind of beaten-up acoustic that sounds better than it looks. He adjusts the mic stand down to his height and clears his throat. "This song is for my mom," Elian says, his voice barely carrying past the first few rows. "She taught me that sometimes the best way to say I love you is to sing it." Michael's vision starts to tunnel. His hearing goes fuzzy around the edges. Because those are the exact words he said to Rosa the night he finished writing the song. Word for word. Elian's fingers find the opening chords. The melody that Michael hummed while Rosa made breakfast. The progression he'd played on repeat until she begged him to either finish it or throw the guitar out the window. Then Elian starts to sing. "When the morning light feels heavy and your feet won't find the ground, when the world keeps spinning faster than your heart can come around, I'll be here beside you when the darkness feels too deep. I'll be here to hold you when you're too tired to sleep." Michael's pen clatters to the floor. His hand presses against his chest, feeling for the scar hidden beneath his shirt, the scar from the surgery that saved his life 3 years ago, when a stranger's heart replaced his failing one. A stranger named David Torres. The realization hits him like ice water. David Torres. Rosa's husband. The man who raised Michael's son while Michael was building his empire in California. Michael's head turns toward the front row, moving like it's underwater. And there she is. Rosa, she's in a wheelchair, just like the doctor predicted. Her legs are covered with a soft blue blanket, her hands folded in her lap. But she's beautiful, different, older, changed by years Michael will never get back, but still beautiful. She's crying. Happy tears, the kind that make your whole face glow. She's watching their son sing the song Michael wrote for her, and she has no idea he's sitting 30 feet away, judging the boy's performance. I'll be your shelter when the storm clouds roll in. I'll be your lighthouse when you can't see where you've been. These are my promises, written in stone. You'll never face tomorrow all alone. Alien's voice cracks on the high note, but it doesn't matter. The crack makes it real, makes it human, makes it everything Michael's overproduced, auto-tuned industry has forgotten how to create. The other judges are leaning forward. Judge Patricia Martinez has tears in her eyes. Judge Raymond Kim is nodding along to the rhythm. But Michael can't move, can't breathe, can't do anything except stare at the woman he abandoned and the son he never knew existed. Sir? Trevor touches his shoulder. You okay? You're kind of freaking me out here. Michael doesn't answer. He's watching Rosa mouth along with the lyrics. She knows every word. Of course she knows every word. He used to sing it to her belly during those last few weeks before he left, before the fear got bigger than the love. Alien reaches the bridge, the part Michael had struggled with for weeks. The part Rosa had helped him finish, suggesting a key change that made the whole song soar. When I'm weak, you make me stronger. When I fall, you help me rise. When the road seems dark and longer, you're the truth that cuts through lies. Michael's chest is tight. Each breath feels like swallowing broken glass, because he knows what comes next. The final chorus. The promise he made and broke in the same breath. I'll be your shelter when the storm clouds roll in. I'll be your lighthouse when you can't see where you've been. These are my promises, written in stone. You'll never face tomorrow all alone. The last chord rings out across the auditorium. 20,000 people sit in complete silence for about 3 seconds. Then the place explodes. People are on their feet, screaming, crying, applauding like their lives depend on it. Judge Martinez is openly sobbing. Judge Kim has his hands over his heart. The host is grinning like Christmas morning. But Michael hasn't moved. He's still staring at Rosa, who's clapping with every ounce of strength she has left. She's proud, fierce, radiant. She's everything he threw away. Elian looks out at the judges' table, waiting for their response. His eyes find Michael's, and for a split second, Michael sees himself at 12 years old. The same stubborn chin. The same dark eyes that see too much. Judges, the host says, walking over to their table. Your thoughts on Elian Torres? Judge Martinez clears her throat, wiping her eyes with a tissue. That was extraordinary. Raw, honest, beautiful. The kind of performance that reminds you why music matters. Judge Kim nods enthusiastically. The emotional connection was undeniable. You didn't just sing that song, son. You lived it. All eyes turn to Michael. He's the head judge, the industry veteran, the man whose opinion can make or break careers. He opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. Michael? The host prompts. Your thoughts? Michael looks at Elian, then at Rosa, then back at Elian, his son, the boy who learned to sing the song Michael wrote for the woman he loved and left. It was, Michael starts, his voice cracking like a 13-year-old's. It was perfect. The crowd cheers again. Elian grins, that same lopsided smile Michael remembers seeing in the mirror as a kid. Thank you, Elian says into the microphone. Thank you so much. He waves to the crowd, then directly at Rosa. She blows him a kiss, and he catches it, pressing it to his chest right over his heart. The same way Michael used to do when Rosa blew him kisses from across the room. As Elian walks off stage, Michael realizes his whole world just shifted. The son he never knew exists. The woman he never stopped loving is 30 feet away. And somehow, impossibly, the song he wrote to promise forever became the soundtrack to a life he was never brave enough to live. The commercial break can't come fast enough. The commercial break lasts 4 minutes. Michael counts every second. He excuses himself from the judge's table, mumbling something about needing air. His legs feel like rubber as he walks toward the backstage area, past camera crews and sound technicians who nod respectfully at the famous Michael Sterling. If only they knew he was falling apart. The backstage corridor smells like coffee and nervous energy. Contestants pace in small circles, warming up their voices or practicing last-minute choreography. Michael pushes through them, looking for one specific face. He finds Elian sitting alone on a folding chair, tuning his guitar. The boy's hands are steady, but Michael can see the slight tremor in his shoulders. The adrenaline crash after performing for 20,000 people. "Elian?" Michael calls out. The boy looks up. Up close, the resemblance is even stronger. Same dark hair that won't stay flat no matter how much you comb it. Same long eyelashes that Rosa used to joke were wasted on a boy. "Mr. Sterling?" Elian stands up quickly, nearly dropping his guitar. "Did I do something wrong? I know I went a little long on the bridge, but no. Michael holds up his hands. "You were incredible out there. That song. Where did you learn it?" Elian's face brightens. "My mom taught it to me. She said it was written for her by someone special back before I was born. She hummed it to me when I was little, when I couldn't sleep." Someone special. Michael's throat closes up. After everything he did, after walking away when she needed him most, Rosa still called him someone special. "Your mom?" Michael says carefully. "Rosa Torres?" "Yeah. Do you know her?" The question hangs in the air between them. Michael opens his mouth, then closes it. How do you tell a 12-year-old that you're the father who abandoned him before he was born? How do you explain 11 years of cowardice in a backstage hallway? "I knew her a long time ago," Michael finally says. "Before she married your father. My dad died when I was 9, Elian says matter-of-factly. Car accident. He was a good man, though. Mom always said he had the biggest heart of anyone she ever knew." David Torres. The man who raised Michael's son, who loved Rosa when Michael was too scared to stay, who died and somehow, through organ donation, gave Michael a second chance at life. The irony is suffocating. "I'm sure he was," Michael manages. "Your mom, she's here tonight?" "Front row." Elian grins. "She saved up for months to buy that ticket. She wanted to be as close as possible when I won." "When you won? Pretty confident." "I have to win." The grin fades from Elian's face. "The prize money. Mom needs surgery. Her legs don't work right anymore, and there's this experimental thing in Boston that might help, but it costs more money than we've ever had." Michael's heart clenches. The heart that used to belong to David Torres, beating faster as he realizes what his son has been carrying, how much Michael asks. $120,000. Elian says it like he's reciting his phone number. Just another fact about his life. Plus travel and recovery costs. But the show prize is $150,000, so if I win. He trails off, but Michael can fill in the blanks. If he wins, Rosa gets her surgery. If he loses, she stays in that wheelchair forever. That's a lot of pressure for someone your age, Michael says. Elian shrugs. Mom says I shouldn't worry about grown-up problems, but she's wrong. When it's your mom, it's not a grown-up problem, it's just your problem. Michael stares at this kid. His kid, 12 years old, and carrying the weight of his mother's future on his shoulders. Everything Michael should have been doing for the past 11 years, Elian has been doing alone. Places for the elimination segment. A production assistant calls out. All remaining contestants to the staging area. Elian picks up his guitar. "I should go." "Thanks for talking to me, Mr. Sterling. It means a lot coming from someone like you." Someone like you. If only Elian knew. Michael watches his son walk away, joining the crowd of young performers heading back to the stage. He should follow them, should return to the judges' table and do his job, should pretend the last 20 minutes didn't just rearrange his entire understanding of his life. Instead, he turns left and walks toward the audience entrance. He finds Rosa exactly where Elian said she'd be. Front row, center section. She's talking to the woman next to her, gesturing excitedly with her hands. She's animated, alive, more vibrant than Michael remembers. The years have changed her, but they haven't dimmed her. Rosa. She turns at the sound of her name. Their eyes meet across the narrow aisle that separates the audience from the stage area. Every expression crosses her face at once. Surprise, recognition, anger, hurt, and something else Michael can't quite read. She doesn't speak for a long moment. "Michael," she finally says. Her voice is steady, controlled. "I wondered if you'd recognize him. The song gave it away." Michael steps closer, then stops when he sees her stiffen. "Rosa, I don't." Her voice cuts through his attempted apology. "Not here. Not now. Elian doesn't know who you are, and I want to keep it that way. We need to talk." "No, we don't." Rosa's hands grip her wheelchair armrests. "You made your choice 11 years ago. I made mine too. Elian is my son, mine and David's." "But he's what?" Rosa's voice drops to a whisper, but it's fierce. "He's yours biologically? So what? David was there for every fever, every nightmare, every scraped knee. David taught him how to throw a baseball and how to treat people with respect. David loved him from the moment he was born until the day he died. You left." The words hit Michael like physical blows. Each one deserved, each one true. "I was scared," Michael says weakly. "So was I." Rosa's eyes flash. "I was 26 years old, pregnant, and facing a disease that was going to change everything about my life. But I didn't run. I know I was a coward, but I'm here now. You're here as a judge on a TV show. You're not here for me, and you're certainly not here for Elian. This is just a coincidence that's making you feel guilty." She's right, and they both know it. Michael didn't come looking for them. He stumbled into this moment, unprepared and unworthy. "The song," Michael says. "You kept it." Rosa's expression softens slightly. "It was beautiful. Just because you broke your promises doesn't mean the song wasn't true when you wrote it. I still love you." The words slip out before Michael can stop them. Rosa's face hardens again. "You love the memory of me," she corrects. "You love the girl who existed before you had to make any real sacrifices. You don't love the woman who's been fighting this disease for 11 years. You don't love the mother who's watched her son work himself to exhaustion trying to save her. You love a ghost." The house lights dim. The show is about to resume. "I should get back," Michael says. "Yes, you should." Rosa turns away from him, facing the stage. "And Michael, whatever happens tonight, whatever Elian's score is, it better be fair. Don't you dare let your guilt or your feelings or whatever this is affect his chances. He's earned this on his own merit." Michael nods, even though she's not looking at him anymore. He walks back toward the judge's table, his legs unsteady. As he sits down, he catches Trevor's questioning look. "Everything okay?" Trevor asks. "Perfect," Michael lies, picking up his pen from where it fell. "Let's finish this thing. But nothing will ever be perfect again." The elimination segment begins with 12 contestants lined up across the stage. Elian stands third from the left, his guitar slung over his shoulder, trying to look confident. Michael can see the nervous energy radiating off him even from the judges' table. "America has voted," the host announces, his voice carrying across the silent auditorium. "Tonight, we're cutting our field from 12 to 6. The 6 contestants moving forward will compete for the grand prize next week." Michael's palms are sweating again. He wipes them on his jeans, then realizes he's been doing that all night. Judge Martinez notices. "You seem tense," she whispers. "It's just eliminations. The real drama happens next week." If only she knew. The first contestant moving forward. The host pauses for dramatic effect. Michael wants to strangle him. Sophia Chen, a 16-year-old with a classically trained voice, steps forward. Expected. Safe choice. The second contestant moving forward, Marcus Williams. Another predictable pick. 17 years old, backed by the best vocal coaches money can buy. Michael barely pays attention. The third contestant moving forward. Michael holds his breath. Elian Torres! The auditorium erupts. Michael's chest unclenches for the first time in hours. In the front row, Rosa is clapping so hard her wheelchair shakes. Tears stream down her face. but she's grinning like she just won the lottery. Elian's face splits into a huge smile. He waves to the crowd, then directly to his mother. The same gesture from earlier, but now it means everything. He's safe. He's moving forward. The dream is still alive. 3 more contestants are announced. Michael recognizes the names, but doesn't care about any of them. His son made it through. His son is 6 people away from changing Rosa's life forever. As the eliminated contestants file off stage, Michael makes a decision that terrifies him. He's going to find them after the show. He's going to tell Elian the truth. The thought makes his stomach churn. What if Elian hates him? What if Rosa refuses to let him explain? What if knowing the truth ruins everything they've built without him? But living with this secret feels impossible now. Watching from the sidelines, while his son carries burdens that should be Michael's to bear. The show wraps up 20 minutes later. Michael barely registers the final announcements, the promotional material for next week's finale, the obligatory thank yous to sponsors. He's planning what he'll say, how he'll approach them, whether there's any combination of words that can explain 11 years of absence. As the audience files out, Michael spots Rosa near the accessible exit. She's moving slowly, maneuvering her wheelchair through the crowd with practiced efficiency. Elian walks beside her, still buzzing with excitement. "Mom, did you see Judge Martinez crying during my song? And Judge Kim said I lived it, not just sang it. That's the best compliment ever." "I'm so proud of you, mijo," Rosa says. "Win or lose next week, you've already shown everyone what you're made of." "We're going to win," Elian says with absolute certainty. "I can feel it." Michael follows them at a distance, staying far enough back to avoid notice. He watches Rosa navigate the crowded lobby, declining help from well-meaning strangers. She's independent, capable, nothing like the frightened young woman he left 11 years ago. They reach the parking garage. Michael realizes this is his moment. If he doesn't speak now, they'll drive away and he might never get another chance. Rosa, Elian. They turn. Rosa's expression immediately closes off when she sees him. "Mr. Sterling," Elian says, surprised but pleased. "What are you doing down here? I wanted to congratulate you again, and to talk to you both if that's okay." "We should get home," Rosa says quickly. "It's late and Elian has school tomorrow." "Please." Michael steps closer. 5 minutes. "There's something I need to tell you." Elian looks between them, sensing tension he doesn't understand. "Is everything okay?" Rosa studies Michael's face. Whatever she sees there makes her shoulders sag slightly. 5 minutes, she agrees. "But not here." They find a quiet corner near the parking garage elevator. Rosa positions her wheelchair so she's between Michael and Elian, a mother's protective instinct that cuts Michael deeper than any accusation could. "Elian," Michael begins, then stops. "How do you shatter a 12-year-old's understanding of his entire life?" "You knew my dad," Elian says suddenly. "Earlier you said you knew Mom before she married him. Did you know my dad too?" Michael looks at Rosa. She gives him the slightest nod. "No," Michael says carefully. "I never met David, but I know he was a good man. I know he loved you and your mother very much." "He did. Mom says he used to sing to me when I was little, even though he couldn't carry a tune in a bucket." Elian grins. "That's where I got my musical genes from Mom." "About that," Michael says. His mouth feels like sandpaper. "Elian, there's something about your family history that you should know." Rosa's hands tighten on her armrests. "What do you mean?" Elian asks. Michael looks at his son, really looks at him. The boy deserves the truth, but does he deserve the burden that comes with it? "Your mother and I, we knew each other very well before you were born. We were together." "Together how?" Elian's voice is curious, not suspicious. "Yet, we were going to get married," Michael says. "Your mother was pregnant, and we were planning a life together. But when she got sick, when the doctors told us about the MS, I got scared. I thought I wasn't strong enough to handle it. So I left." Elian blinks. Michael can see him processing the information, trying to understand the implications. "You left when Mom was sick?" "Yes." "When she was pregnant?" "Yes." Elian looks at Rosa, then back at Michael. The pieces are falling into place. "Are you?" Elian's voice cracks. Are you saying you're my biological father? The words hang in the garage air between them. Rosa reaches for Elian's hand. Yes, Michael says quietly. I'm your biological father. Elian doesn't move for a long moment. When he finally speaks, his voice is very small. You left us. I left you. Why? It's the question Michael has asked himself 10,000 times. The question that's eaten at him for 11 years. Because I was 25 years old and selfish and stupid, Michael says. Because I thought your mother's disease would ruin my career plans. Because I convinced myself you'd both be better off without me dragging you down. But we weren't better off, Elian says. His voice is getting stronger, anger creeping in. Mom had to raise me alone while she was sick. We've been struggling for money my entire life. I've been working since I was 8 years old to help pay bills. Each word is a knife. Michael deserves every cut. I know. Do you? Elian's eyes flash. Do you know that Mom cries sometimes when she thinks I'm asleep? Do you know that I've been washing dishes at Roberto's diner every weekend for 3 years to help with rent? Do you know that we've been eating pasta and beans for dinner 4 nights a week because that's what we can afford? Michael's vision blurs. Elian, No. Elian steps away from both of them. You don't get to show up now. You don't get to be my dad now that I'm on TV, now that I might win money. You had 11 years to be my dad. 11 years. You're right, Michael says. You're absolutely right. David Torres was my dad, Elian continues. He taught me how to ride a bike and how to change guitar strings and how to treat people with respect. He worked 2 jobs to pay for Mom's medical bills. He never missed a school play or a baseball game. He was my dad. You're just the guy who donated sperm. The words are brutal and true. Michael looks at Rosa, hoping for, what? Intervention? Support? But her face is unreadable. I'm not asking to be your dad, Michael says finally. I know I lost that right, but I want to help. The surgery your mom needs, the money you're trying to win, I can pay for it. Tonight, all of it. Elian's expression hardens. With what? Guilt money? It's not guilt money, Michael says, though they all know that's exactly what it is. It's responsibility money. It's 11 years too late money. We don't want your money, Elian says flatly. Speak for yourself. Rosa's voice cuts through the tension. Both Michael and Elian turn to stare at her. Mom? Elian's voice is shocked. Rosa looks up at her son, her expression gentle but firm. Mijo, I've been watching you sacrifice your childhood for my medical bills. You think I don't know what you've been doing? You think I don't see you counting quarters before we go grocery shopping? That's not your fault, Elian argues. And it's not yours either. Rosa turns to Michael. How much? Whatever it costs. The surgery, the recovery, the travel expenses, everything. 120,000 for the procedure, maybe another 30 for everything else? Michael pulls out his phone and opens his banking app. His fingers move across the screen with practiced efficiency. Give me your account information. Michael, you can't just... Rosa starts. Yes, I can. He looks up from his phone. I can't give back 11 years. I can't undo walking out when you needed me most. I can't erase the nights you cried yourself to sleep or the times Elian went hungry so you could afford medication. But I can do this one thing. Elian watches this exchange with growing frustration. You're both talking about me like I'm not here. You're right, Rosa says. I'm sorry, but Elian, this is bigger than pride. This is about me maybe walking again. This is about you not having to carry this weight anymore. I don't mind the weight. I mind it for you. Rosa's voice breaks slightly. You're 12 years old. You should be worried about homework and video games and whether that girl in your English class likes you back. You shouldn't be working weekends to pay for your mother's medical care. Michael looks between them, seeing clearly for the first time what his absence has cost. Not just Rosa's physical struggle, but the way it forced Elian to grow up too fast. The way it made a child responsible for his mother's future. There's a condition, Michael says quietly. Rosa's eyes narrow. Of course there is. Not what you think. Michael puts his phone away. I don't want visitation rights. I don't want to be called Dad. I don't want family dinners or birthday invitations or any of that. I just want to know that you're both okay. That's it? Elian asks suspiciously. That's it. I pay for the surgery, you get your life back, and I go back to California knowing I finally did something right. The garage is quiet except for the distant hum of traffic. A family of 3 walks past, laughing about something, heading to their car. Normal people with normal problems. Why now? Rosa asks. You've been famous for years. You had the money before tonight. Why now? Michael considers lying, making up something noble about personal growth or finding God. But these two have earned honesty, even if it's ugly. Because I saw Elian sing that song and realized I'd never done anything in my entire life that mattered as much as what he did in 4 minutes on that stage. Because I looked at you in the audience and remembered what real love looks like. Because I'm 43 years old, and I've built this whole successful life. But I've never been proud of anything the way you were proud of him tonight. So this is about you, Elian says. About making yourself feel better. Yeah, Michael admits. Partly, but also partly about you not having to work 3 jobs before you're old enough to drive. Rosa studies Michael's face. You really mean it? No strings attached? No strings? And after the surgery, after I'm recovered? I disappear. Back to my life, you back to yours. Maybe I'll watch Elian's career from a distance, buy his albums when he gets famous. But that's it. Elian looks at his mother. Mom, you don't have to do this. I'm going to win next week. I can feel it. And what if you don't? Rosa asks gently. What if something goes wrong? What if you get sick and can't perform? What if the other contestants are better? What then, mijo? Elian doesn't have an answer. I've been in this chair for 3 years, Rosa continues. 3 years of watching my legs get weaker, 3 years of needing help with things I used to do without thinking, 3 years of seeing you grow up too fast because you're trying to take care of me. She reaches for Elian's hand. If there's a chance I can walk again, if there's a chance you can be a regular 12-year-old again, don't we have to try? Michael watches his son wrestle with the decision. He can see the internal battle. Pride versus practicality. The desire to succeed on his own versus the exhaustion of carrying too much weight. He abandoned you, Elian says finally, looking at Rosa. When you needed him most, he walked away. Yes, he did. And now he wants to fix it with money. Yes, that's not how it works. You can't just pay for your mistakes. Rosa smiles sadly. No, you can't. But sometimes you can pay to fix the damage they caused. Elian is quiet for a long moment. When he speaks again, his voice is older than his 12 years. If we take the money, it doesn't make us a family. I know, Michael says. It doesn't make you my dad. I know. And it doesn't mean I forgive you. Michael's throat tightens. I know. Good. Elian looks at Rosa. Mom, if you want the surgery, we'll take the money. But he's not allowed to act like he's doing us a favor. This is payment. For 11 years of child support he never sent. For 11 years of being there when you were scared. For 11 years of missed birthdays and Christmas mornings and school plays. This isn't charity. This is a debt. The harshness of it takes Michael's breath away, but Elian is right. It is a debt. One that $150,000 can't even begin to cover. Understood, Michael manages. Rosa gives Michael her banking information. He transfers the money right there in the parking garage, his phone screen glowing in the fluorescent light. $160,000. Gone in 30 seconds. It's done, he says, showing them the confirmation screen. Rosa stares at her phone as the notification comes through. More money than she's ever seen in one place. Enough to change everything. I can't believe this is real, she whispers. It's real, Michael says. Call the clinic tomorrow. Schedule the surgery. Take time to recover properly. Don't worry about anything else. Elian hasn't looked at Michael since they shook on the deal. He's focused entirely on his mother. We should go home, Mom. You need to rest. Yes. Rosa looks up at Michael. Thank you for this. For finally doing something right. It's not forgiveness. It's barely acknowledgement. But it's more than Michael deserves. Take care of her, Michael says to Elian. I always have. another knife, perfectly placed. Michael watches them walk away toward their car, a beat-up Honda Civic with one tail light out. Rosa transfers from her wheelchair to the passenger seat with practiced efficiency, while Elian folds the wheelchair and loads it in the back. They don't look back. Michael stands alone in the parking garage, surrounded by luxury cars and the echo of his own breathing. He just gave away enough money to buy a small house. He just met the son he never knew existed. He just faced the woman he loved and lost through his own cowardice. And somehow he feels emptier than before. His phone buzzes with a text from Trevor. "Great show tonight. See you next week for the finale." Right. The finale, where Michael will sit at the judge's table and watch his son compete for money he no longer needs, singing songs that will remind everyone watching what real talent sounds like. The irony is suffocating. 1 week later, Michael sits in the same judge's chair, but everything feels different. The auditorium is packed tighter than before. The finale always draws bigger crowds, more cameras, more pressure. But tonight, Michael can barely focus on anything except the kid warming up backstage. His kid. The past week has been torture. Michael knows Rosa scheduled the surgery for 2 weeks from now. He knows because he's been checking his bank account obsessively, watching for any additional charges from the Boston clinic. He's been fighting the urge to call, to text, to show up at their apartment with groceries or flowers or whatever fathers are supposed to bring. But he promised to disappear. And unlike 11 years ago, he's keeping this promise. "You seem distracted," Judge Martinez whispers as they wait for the show to start. "Everything okay?" "Just thinking about the talent level tonight," Michael lies. "These kids are incredible." 6 contestants remain: Elian, Sophia, Marcus, and 3 others whose names Michael keeps forgetting. But only one matters to him now. The show opens with fanfare and pyrotechnics. The host does his usual routine about dreams coming true and America's vote. Michael nods in the right places, smiles on cue, plays the role of Michael Sterling, music industry titan. Inside, he's falling apart. "Our first finalist tonight," the host announces, singing for the $150,000 grand prize and a recording contract. Sophia Chen. Sophia takes the stage. Classical training, perfect technique, zero soul. She sings some pop ballad that will be forgotten by tomorrow morning. The audience claps politely. The judges give encouraging comments. Michael rates her an 8. Our second finalist, Marcus Williams. Marcus does better. Real emotion, good song choice, solid performance. Still feels manufactured, but he's got potential. Michael gives him an 8.5. 3 more contestants, all good, all forgettable, all not his son. "Our final contestant tonight," the host says, and Michael's chest tightens. "Singing for your vote and the grand prize, Elian Torres." The crowd erupts before Elian even takes the stage. His preliminary video has been viewed over 10 million times now. He's become America's sweetheart, the underdog everyone's rooting for. Elian walks out carrying the same beat-up guitar. He's wearing a simple black t-shirt and jeans. No costume, no backup dancers, no elaborate staging, just him and his music. He adjusts the microphone and looks out at the crowd. For just a second, his eyes find Michael's. No acknowledgement, no recognition, just a quick glance before moving on. "This song," Elian says into the microphone, "is about promises, about the people who keep them and the people who don't. It's called Lighthouse." Michael's blood runs cold. Lighthouse. The second song he wrote for Rosa, the one he never finished. The one he hummed while doing dishes in their tiny apartment, before everything fell apart. Elian's fingers find the opening chords. Different from how Michael wrote it, but better. Elian has taken the fragment and made it whole. "There's a lighthouse on the shore of my memory, shining bright when the storms roll in. But the keeper left his post when the seas got rough. Now I'm searching for that light again." Michael grips his pen so hard it might snap. This song doesn't exist anywhere. He never recorded it, never shared it, barely finished writing it. The only way Elian could know it is if Rosa remembered the melody, if she somehow pieced together the fragments Michael left behind. Some promises are written in the sand. The waves come in and wash them clean. Some promises are carved in solid stone. They last forever, or so it seems. The auditorium is dead silent. 20,000 people holding their breath as a 12-year-old boy sings about abandonment and broken promises. About fathers who leave and mothers who stay. Michael feels tears starting. He blinks rapidly, trying to keep it together on national television. I built my own lighthouse on the rocks of what remains. I learned to be the keeper of the flame. When the storms come calling, I won't run away. I'll be the light that guides you home again. It's a promise. A declaration. A 12-year-old boy telling the world that he'll never walk away from the people he loves. That he'll never be like the father who left before he was born. Michael is openly crying now. He doesn't care who sees. Judge Martinez reaches over and squeezes his hand. These are my promises, written in stone. I'll weather every storm that comes our way. When you can't find the strength to carry on, I'll be your shelter. I'll light the way. Elian's voice soars on the final chorus. Pure, raw, honest. The kind of singing that reaches inside your chest and rearranges your heart. When the last note fades, the auditorium explodes. Standing ovation. All 20,000 people on their feet. Judge Kim is wiping his eyes. Judge Martinez is applauding like her life depends on it. Even the camera operators are crying. Michael can't move, can't speak, can't do anything except stare at this incredible kid who just rewrote his abandoned song into something beautiful. Judges, the host says when the applause finally dies down. Your thoughts on Elian Torres? Judge Martinez goes first. That was extraordinary. You didn't just perform that song, you lived it. You made us all believe in the power of keeping promises. Judge Kim nods enthusiastically. The emotional maturity in that performance was stunning. You have the heart of an artist and the voice of an angel. All eyes turn to Michael. He wipes his face with his sleeve and leans into his microphone. Elian, he says, his voice cracking slightly. That song, where did you find it? I wrote it, Elian says simply. Well, my mom helped. She remembered some melody fragments from somewhere, and we built the rest together. Michael nods, understanding. Rosa took the pieces he left behind and helped their son create something better, something complete. It's the most honest performance I've ever witnessed, Michael says. You sang about promises and keeping faith, and I believe every word. That's what real artistry looks like. He holds up his scorecard. 10. The crowd goes wild again. Judge Martinez shows a 9.8. Judge Kim shows a 9.9. Elian's average is the highest of the night by a mile, but the winner is determined by America's vote, not the judges' scores. The results show feels endless. Michael sits through commercial breaks and recap packages and meaningless filler content. His heart pounds as they announce the third-place winner, then second place. And your American Talent Champion, winner of $150,000 and a recording contract. Michael holds his breath. Elian Torres? The auditorium explodes. Confetti cannons fire, lights flash. Elian stands center stage, tears streaming down his face, holding his guitar like a lifeline. In the front row, Rosa is sobbing with joy. She doesn't need the money anymore, but seeing her son achieve his dreams on the biggest stage in America, that's priceless. Elian accepts his oversized check and trophy. He gives the required interviews, poses for photos, plays his winning song one more time. Through it all, Michael watches from the judges' table. As the show wraps and the audience files out, Michael makes his way backstage one last time. He finds Elian sitting alone in a corner, still holding his trophy. Congratulations, Michael says quietly. Elian looks up. Thank you for the fair score tonight. You earned it. They sit in silence for a moment, two people who share DNA but not much else. The surgery is next week, Elian says finally. I know. Thank you. For that. Michael nods. Take care of her. Take care of yourself. I will. Michael turns to leave, then stops. Elian, for what it's worth, I'm proud of you. Not as your father, because I know I'm not that. Just as someone who recognizes real talent and real character when he sees it. Elian considers this. Okay, it's not forgiveness, it's not family, but it's acknowledgement. And for Michael, it's enough. He walks away for the second time in 11 years. But this time he's leaving them better than he found them. This time he's keeping his promise to disappear. 3 months after the finale, Michael's life looks exactly the same from the outside. Same penthouse apartment overlooking the city. Same corner office at Sterling Entertainment. Same expensive suits hanging in his walk-in closet. But inside, everything has changed. He's been following Rosa's recovery through carefully worded Google searches and social media stalking that would embarrass a teenager. The surgery was successful. She's walking with assistance. Physical therapy is going well. Elian signed with a major label and is working on his debut album. Michael knows all of this without ever contacting them directly. He's kept his promise to disappear, even though it's eating him alive. His assistant, Janet, pokes her head into his office on a Tuesday morning in December. "There's a Rosa Torres here to see you. Says it's personal." Michael's coffee mug slips in his hands. Hot liquid splashes across his desk, soaking into expense reports and contract drafts. "Rosa Torres?" he repeats, like he might have heard wrong. "Should I send her in?" Michael looks down at his coffee-stained shirt, then at the stack of papers he'll need to reprint. None of it matters. "Yes, send her in." Rosa enters his office, walking slowly but steadily with a sleek silver cane. She's wearing a dark green dress that brings out her eyes and a wool coat that's clearly new. Success looks good on her. "Hello, Michael." He stands up too quickly, bumping his knee against the desk. "Rosa. Hi. How are you? How's the recovery going? Is everything okay with the surgery? Do you need more money for therapy?" "Slow down." She smiles, and it's the first real smile she's given him since that night in the parking garage. "I'm fine. The surgery worked. I'm walking. Elian's album is coming out next month." "That's incredible. I'm so happy for you both." She looks around his office, taking in the floor-to-ceiling windows and the framed platinum albums on the walls. "Impressive setup you've got here." "It's just work." Michael gestures to one of the leather chairs facing his desk. "Please, sit. Can I get you anything? Coffee, water, tea?" "I'm okay." Rosa settles into the chair, leaning her cane against the armrest. "I came to talk." Michael sits back down, his heart hammering against his ribs. "Is something wrong? Is Elian okay?" "Elian is fine. He's in the studio today, actually. Working with some producer whose name I can't pronounce." Rosa's expression grows serious. "I came to talk about us." "Us?" "Don't play dumb, Michael. It doesn't suit you." She's right. He knows exactly why she's here, and it terrifies him. "I've been thinking a lot during recovery," Rosa continues. "Physical therapy gives you a lot of time to think. About the past, about mistakes, about second chances." Michael doesn't dare to hope. "Rosa, let me finish." Her voice is gentle, but firm. 11 years ago, you made the worst decision of your life. You walked away when I needed you most. You abandoned your family because you were scared." Each word lands like a physical blow. Michael nods, accepting the punishment he deserves. "But," Rosa says, and Michael's head snaps up, "I've made mistakes too." "What do you mean?" Rosa shifts in her chair, choosing her words carefully. "That night in the parking garage, when you offered to help, I let my pride and my anger make decisions for both of us. I was so focused on punishing you that I almost missed something important." "What?" "You came back." Michael blinks. "I didn't come back. I stumbled into you by accident." "No, you didn't." Rosa leans forward. "I did some research, Michael. Your company has been donating anonymously to MES research for 3 years, always in amounts that exactly match my medical bills. You've been quietly funding a scholarship program for underprivileged kids in music programs across the country. You've been looking for us." Michael's mouth opens, then closes. He's been so careful to keep his search quiet, to maintain the distance he promised. "Janet's very chatty when you buy her enough coffee," Rosa says with a small smile. "She told me about the private investigators you hired, about how you've been tracking our well-being from a distance, about how you've been beating yourself up for 11 years. Rosa, you've been trying to take care of us without taking credit for it. That's not the action of a man who doesn't care. That's the action of a man who made a terrible mistake and has been trying to fix it ever since." Michael stares at her. You came here to tell me I'm not as terrible as I thought? I came here to tell you I miss you. The words hang in the air between them. Michael feels like the floor just disappeared beneath his feet. You miss me? I miss the man I fell in love with. I miss the way you used to sing while doing dishes. I miss the way you'd write songs about whatever was happening in our life. I miss having a partner instead of doing everything alone. Michael's vision blurs. Rosa, you can't. I don't deserve. Stop. Rosa stands up, moving toward his desk with careful but determined steps. Stop deciding what I deserve. Stop deciding what's best for me. I've been making my own decisions for 11 years. I can make this one too. She reaches the desk and leans against it, looking down at him. I'm not saying we pick up where we left off. I'm not saying we pretend the last 11 years didn't happen. But I am saying that maybe we try again. Slowly, carefully, with our eyes wide open about who we are now. Michael stands up, moving around the desk until he's standing in front of her. This close, he can smell her perfume, can see the tiny lines around her eyes that weren't there 11 years ago. What about Elian? He asks quietly. He made it very clear he doesn't want me as a father. Elian is protective of me, and he's 12, which means he sees everything in black and white. But he's also smart, and he's been watching how miserable I've been since David died. He wants me to be happy, and I make you happy. Rosa reaches up and touches his face, her fingers tracing the stubble along his jaw. You used to, maybe you could again. Michael covers her hand with his. I'm not the same person I was 11 years ago. Neither am I. I'm stronger now, more independent. I know I can survive without you, which means if I choose to be with you, it's because I want to be, not because I need to be. What if I screw it up again? What if I get scared when things get hard, then you screw it up, and we deal with it? But Michael, life is hard no matter what. David and I were happy, but we struggled with money and my illness and raising Elian. There's no relationship that doesn't require courage. Michael studies her face. The woman who's been haunting his dreams for 11 years is standing in his office, offering him something he thought he'd lost forever. Where do we start? He asks. Dinner, Rosa says simply. Friday night, nothing fancy, just two people getting to know each other again. What about Elian? He knows I'm here. He knows what I'm asking you. He's not thrilled, but he understands that his mother is a grown woman who can make her own choices about her love life. Michael nods slowly. Friday night. Friday night. Rosa picks up her cane and starts toward the door. She pauses with her hand on the handle. Michael? Yeah? Don't overthink this. Don't turn it into some grand romantic gesture. Don't show up with expensive flowers or reservation at the fanciest restaurant in the city. Just show up. Be yourself. The real you, not the successful music executive version. After she leaves, Michael sits in his coffee-stained shirt and stares out the window at the city below. His phone buzzes with a text message. It's from Elian. She's giving you a chance. Don't blow it. Friday night arrives faster than Michael expects. He spends an hour deciding what to wear, settling on jeans and a button-down shirt. No tie, no expensive watch. Just clothes that look like clothes, not a costume. He picks up Rosa at her apartment, the same building where he used to live 11 years ago. The hallways smell like cooking oil and someone's grandmother's perfume. It's exactly how he remembers it. Rosa opens the door wearing a simple blue sweater and black pants. She's beautiful in the way that comes from being comfortable in your own skin. Hi, she says. Hi. They drive to a small Italian place in Rosa's neighborhood, the kind of restaurant with checkered tablecloths and photos of the owner's family covering the walls. Nothing fancy, nothing impressive, just good food and quiet conversation. This okay? Michael asks as they're seated in a corner booth. It's perfect. They order wine and pasta and start the careful dance of getting to know each other again. Rosa tells him about physical therapy, about learning to trust her legs again. Michael tells her about the guilt, about the nights he'd drive past their old apartment building just to see if the lights were on. I kept expecting to run into you, he admits. At the grocery store or the post office or somewhere random. I had this whole speech prepared about how sorry I was. What would you have said? Michael twirls pasta around his fork, considering. That I loved you more than I was afraid, I just didn't know it at the time. That walking away from you was the biggest mistake I've ever made. That I thought about you every single day. Every day? Every day when I got the heart transplant, when they told me the donor's name was David Torres. I thought it was some kind of cosmic joke, like the universe was making sure I could never forget what I'd lost. Rosa reaches across the table and takes his hand. It wasn't a joke. It was David making sure you had a second chance to get it right. They talk until the restaurant starts closing around them. About Elian's music, about Rosa's recovery, about the past 11 years of parallel lives. When Michael drives her home, neither of them wants the night to end. "Can I see you again?" he asks as they stand outside her apartment building. "I'd be disappointed if you didn't ask." He leans down and kisses her forehead, soft and careful, like she might disappear if he moves too fast. "Thank you," he whispers against her hair, "for giving me this chance. Thank you for being worth it." They take it slowly. Coffee dates and long walks, movies and bookstore browsing. Michael meets Rosa for lunch between her physical therapy appointments. Rosa comes to his office and listens to demo tracks from new artists he's considering signing. Elian remains wary but civil. He doesn't call Michael Dad, doesn't invite him to family dinners, doesn't pretend they're suddenly best friends. But he doesn't actively sabotage the relationship either. "He's protecting his mom," Rosa explains after a particularly tense dinner where Elian barely spoke. "He saw how hard it was when David died. He doesn't want to watch me get hurt again." "Maybe this is a mistake," Michael says. "Maybe I should just—" "Don't you dare," Rosa grabs his arm. "Don't you dare use his skepticism as an excuse to run away again. He'll come around, but only if you prove you're here to stay." Michael proves it in small ways. He shows up when he says he will. He remembers Rosa's physical therapy schedule and sends encouraging texts. He learns Elian's touring dates and never plans anything that conflicts with his son's career. 6 months after Rosa walked into his office, Michael wakes up in his own bed and realizes he's happy. Not successful businessman happy or revenge against his ex happy. Actually, genuinely happy. His phone buzzes with a text from Rosa. "Dinner tonight. Elian wants to talk to you." Michael's stomach drops. This is it. The conversation where Elian tells him to stay away from his mother. The conversation Michael has been dreading for months. He arrives at Rosa's apartment that evening, prepared for the worst. Elian is waiting in the living room, his guitar across his lap, looking older than his 13 years. "Sit down," Elian says. Michael sits. "I wrote something," Elian continues. "I want you to hear it." He starts playing, finger-picking a melody that sounds familiar but different. Then he begins to sing. "There's a man who left when things got hard. There's a woman who stayed strong. There's a kid who never knew his father's heart, until he learned to sing his father's song." Michael's breath catches. Elian is singing about them. About second chances and forgiveness and the messy reality of blended families. Some bridges burn, some bridges mend, some stories have to start again. Some fathers have to earn their place, some sons have to learn to forgive. Elian's voice is stronger than it was during the competition. Richer, more mature. Success hasn't spoiled his talent, it's refined it. "I don't know if we'll ever be the family we could have been, but maybe we can be the family we are. Maybe love isn't just about blood. Maybe love is about who stays when staying gets hard." When the song ends, the room is quiet. Rosa is crying silently in her chair. Michael is trying not to fall apart completely. "I still don't forgive you," Elian says quietly. "Not completely, maybe not ever. But Mom loves you, and that matters to me. She's happy with you in a way she wasn't with anyone else after Dad died." Michael nods, not trusting his voice. "So here's the deal," Elian continues. "You can stay. You can be with Mom, but you don't get to be my dad. David Torres was my dad. You're Michael. You're the guy who loves my mom and who pays for things and who's teaching me about the music business. That's enough." "That's more than enough," Michael manages. Good. Elian sets his guitar aside. Because I'm recording that song next month, and I want you to help me produce it. Mom says you're good at that stuff. It's not forgiveness. It's not family in the traditional sense, but it's acceptance. It's a 13-year-old boy choosing to make room in his life for the man who loves his mother. That night, Michael takes Rosa's hand as they sit on her couch watching late-night television. I love you, he says. I know I don't have the right to say that anymore. I know I lost that right 11 years ago. But I love you. I love who you are now, who you've become. I love your strength and your independence and the way you raised our son to be better than both of us. Rosa turns to face him fully. I love you too. Not the way I loved you when I was 26 and thought love could conquer everything. I love you the way a woman loves a man when she knows exactly what she's getting into. 6 months later, Michael moves into a house 3 blocks away from Rosa's apartment. Close enough to be part of their daily life, far enough away to maintain the independence Rosa values. Elian's debut album goes platinum. Michael produces his second one. Rosa walks down the aisle at Elian's high school graduation without any assistance. They don't get married. Rosa says she's been someone's wife twice, and she likes being Michael's partner better than being his spouse. Michael doesn't care what they call it, as long as she wakes up next to him. On the 5-year anniversary of Elian's competition win, the 3 of them attend the show as special guests. Michael sits in the audience instead of at the judges' table, watching his son perform his latest single. As Elian sings, Michael reaches for Rosa's hand. She squeezes back, and for the first time in 16 years, Michael feels like he's exactly where he belongs. Some mistakes can't be undone. Some damage can't be fully repaired. But sometimes, if you're incredibly lucky and brave enough to try again, you get a second chance to build something beautiful from the pieces of what you broke. Michael got his second chance, and this time, he's not walking away. If this story touched you in any way, drop a comment about a time someone underestimated you and you proved them wrong. Share this story with someone who needs to hear that walking away never leads to true redemption. And subscribe, because next we've got more stories about the price of second chances. Real success isn't about who shows up with money at the end. It's about who stays through the struggle.